Hey everyone, gather round the campfire, because tonight's story is one that will send a chill right down to your bones. It takes place in a town called Ravenshollow, a place that was always quiet, a little too quiet. It was as if the whole town was holding its breath, waiting for a terrible secret to finally break free. Every autumn, without fail, a thick black fog would roll in from the hills. The villagers would lock their doors, say their prayers, and try their best to ignore the whispers that seemed to ride on the mist. But this year was different. The fog came early. Elias Crane, the town's gravedigger, was the first to see it. He noticed the graves in his cemetery had shifted. The earth was cracked, like something was pushing its way up from below. He tried to blame it on the recent rains, but then he saw them. Strange symbols, circles within circles, burned into the soil with ash. He knew this was no trick of the weather. That night, a terrifying sound echoed through Ravenshollow. The old church bell started ringing all by itself. The priest, startled and afraid, rushed to the steeple to silence it, but he never came back down. In his place stood a dark cloaked figure, his face obscured by a twisted crown of rusted thorns. The bell tolled 13 times, one more than it should, and the sound vibrated through the very soul of the town. The whispers grew louder, carried on the wind. He has returned. The Prince of Darkness walks again. The next day was even more terrifying. The sun never rose. Instead, a deep blood-red glow stained the horizon. The world seemed to be dying. Birds fell lifeless from the trees, and dogs whined, trying to break free from their leashes. Elias returned to the graveyard and found a horrifying sight. The priest's body was laid out on the altar. His eyes burned away, his mouth filled with black sand. And then, from that sand, something moved. A hand pale as moonlight and veined with what looked like fire reached up from the earth. Then another. The ground split open, and a tall but terrible figure emerged, wearing the shadows like a suit of armor. His eyes were pure voids, sucking in all the light around them. His voice was like the wind whistling through an ancient tomb as he spoke. I am the beginning you buried, and the end you feared to speak. Behind him, the dead began to rise from their graves, their eyes glowing with a faint red light, or whispering a name that hadn't been spoken by a living soul in 1,000 years. The fog grew thicker, crawling into homes, seeping through the very walls. The sky turned completely black, and the world fell silent once more, and in that suffocating silence, the Prince of Darkness smiled. For the first time in centuries, darkness had a king again. Thanks for listening to this tale of terror. If you enjoyed it and want to hear more stories that will keep you up at night, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the Prince of Darkness. Until next time, stay safe.